This is a video on why the so-called red pill is actually poison, and it gives reasons as to why you shouldn't follow this pseudoscientific, anti-factual, anti-sociological, anti-equity cult of terminally online losers who let sexual fulfillment live rent-free in their heads while being so blind as to not conferring a greater purpose to their lives. The online manosphere, as it's been dubbed, is a collection of blogs, forums, video hosting site channels, and other digital mediums that harbor beliefs which include, but aren't limited to, the promotion of romanticized versions of masculinity, misogyny, and opposition to virtually any and all forms of women's liberation, and as one could reasonably assume, as a result of these failures to adequately explain sociological reality, cults like these overlap with extremely far-right communities. These erroneous beliefs and the way they're properly manipulated to radicalize young men and middle-aged men, most of whom are going through a divorce, have led to terrorist attacks. But let's get into some of the specific ideology. One notable claim that's paramount to their grand conspiracy of a cabal of leftists that's trying to upend traditional masculine roles is the delusion that feminists encourage false rape accusations against men. You might be surprised to learn that that's actually not the most blatantly incorrect belief held by them. An article posted by Julia Baird states, quote, "While men successfully convince each other that women cry rape with ease and glee," she wrote, "the reality of rape is that victimized women have always been reluctant to report the crime and seek legal justice. Because of the shame of public exposure, because of that complex double standard that makes a female feel culpable, even responsible for any act of sexual aggression committed against her, their accounts are received with a harsh cynicism that forms the first male line of defense." And here we are again today. 4 in 10 Australians think women fabricate sexual assault to get back at men. The National Community Attitude Survey revealed in 2018. 1 in 10 of us think women are probably lying about rape if they don't report it instantly. Almost a third think women who say they have been raped have often led the man on and just had regrets. Exactly a third reckon rape results from men not being able to control their need for sex. Unquote. And what percentage of accusations were actually proven to be false? A mere 5%. This is what conservatives were whining about back in the Gamergate days. This, like all of their claims, is false. Manospherians also believe that political correctness espoused by feminists obscure the alleged reality of the matriarchy trying to control men. Do I even have to spend time on people who are still stuck in 2016? This isn't true, as it's blatantly obvious men have astounding institutional power over women. Another major talking point of the red pill is hypergamy, the idea that in virtually every instance, women marry into positions of higher socioeconomic status because these people assume a priori that women's romantic and sexual proclivities are virtually always in an attempt to move themselves up in society, like some sort of a social Squid Game. This is again patently untrue because not only did a 2019 paper by Conroy Beam and others state that people will date others that are similar to them in many domains, but a 2011 paper by Taylor and others states that people will pursue partners whose social desirability is approximately their own, according to their assessment of themselves. Additionally, one study also found no statistical difference in the number of women or men marrying up, in a sample of about 1,000 first-time married couples, that is. Additional research is needed on this subject, so preferably a meta-analysis, but we're not the ones making the false statements. Already going into the discussion, if you hear more talk of false rape accusations or the hypergamous nature of women or whatever, in the words of Jordan Peterson, ironically, lies. 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 Similarly, the idea that 20% of men are doing 80% of the dating is just wrong. Here's an interesting article tackling it. The wage gap is an empirical fact, and the common apologetic used in an attempt to debunk this is that it's due to the personal choices between men and women. Since the right broadly hates Islam, except when they don't because of its brazen misogyny, women make choices that lower their wages, like how women make the choice to wear the hijab. One major factor in this is motherhood, because having children drastically stalls career progress. We know many women are pressured into having kids, so if you don't think socialization, especially socialization of gender roles, doesn't play into this, just march into an ocean in a video game and don't come back out. The entirety of the claims of this club of bros are absolutely unhinged from reality, and the deeper one goes into the depravity of these content creators and websites, the greater they'll notice the rampant Nazism that plagues these incel freaks. The red pill is poison, and what disillusioned men need is an alternative form of masculinity that the left should present content which is free of toxicity and cartoonishly hyperbolic forms of hegemonic masculinity. The manosphere presents a worldview in which the fundamental object of a man's existence is the subjugation of women, and the practice of unrealistic standards of manhood that only anime characters could think of living up to. It's such a facade. Every one of these lunatics should be extirpated from the internet and public life in general.